Chad? Are you watching Chad?
Chad.
Always,
Is that-
Chad? Like an
always,
actual Chad?
yeah, like an actual Chad. He's always like calling me out saying we didn't record on Monday and stuff like that. He got mad that we took a month off.
Sometimes we have to reschedule and adjust.
Yeah.
Stop judging us. I don't think Chad's here, but if he's here,
He doesn't show up to the. I mean, he doesn't. I guess he doesn't comment, but he watches on YouTube.
oh, okay.
Welcome to Art Pizza, the artist podcast where Brian is going to take over the show today because he knows he didn't know a lot about a lot, but he knows a little about a little. I am Brian Manning, or Tag Champ Brian.
And I am Edward Freda, aka Edward Draws Stuff.
And I'm Elisa, aka Free Rex.
And Josh is not here today, right? Today's his rest day.
His rest day.
It's day of rest.
From,
All right.
from his swole workout is his rest day.
What are you resting from?
Well, I hope he's working.
Man.
Yeah, life. Am I right?
Oh my
I need to
god.
rest from life.
Of course my shit's not working.
Uh-oh, that means I get this whole area right here.
Oh,
Do it.
Hang on. I'm hoping my iPad's plugged in.
Uh-oh.
If not, no, because I have like a whole new setup, and it's just like I'm adjusting to that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hold on. All right, you guys can.
We'll steal our spots.
Yeah. Just hang in there. I have to find a plug.
Okay.
All right.
So, Brian, you have an LLC currently, right?
I have an LLC. I do. I had one before as well for another business. So I have a little bit of experience. Doing this. And he's back.
And I'm back.
Hey.
There you go. Had to
I don't
find
like what
my
I'm drawing.
plug. You could have pretended to draw.
I said I don't like what I'm drawing.
Oh. A skull. Classic.
That's not me.
Okay.
You were confused because that's my normal spot, but I wasn't.
Right.
I didn't
sorry,
draw
I'm
last. No. I didn't draw last week, so I gave it up. That's not my spot anymore. First come, first serve.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about art businesses, specifically focusing on sole proprietorship versus LLC. It's a very boring topic, so we're going to draw while we crack jokes about it.
Is it
but,
that boring?
It's relatively boring, but you know, I feel like it's
interested.
necessary. I feel like it's necessary to be somewhat familiar. And I have to start by saying I am by no means an expert. I am just the only one in here that currently has an LLC.
Brian does not
set
want to
up.
get sued.
I don't want to get sued.
Disclaimers.
This is not business or financial advice. This is just do your own research, people. Oh, I hate that. I hate that phrase. We should be doing it anyway, but you don't.
Well, if you do get sued, isn't it one of the things that if you have an LLC that you're protected?
I mean, the LLC, which means it stands for Limited Liability Company. Basically, what happens is if you if you have an LLC and that LLC incurs debt or somehow is sued for damages in some way, you are not personally held liable for like those debts or those damages. But that doesn't mean you could just start an LLC and become a vigilante and go, hey, it's an LLC. You got to arrest that. You got to arrest Punisher LLC, not me.
I'm protected. Punisher LLC. Is that the name of your
liability? Not
complete and total.
It's not diplomatic immunity.
Right.
Where you're just gonna get shot by a retiring cop. It's like it's just been revoked. So I'm gonna start by saying Alan and I have an LLC right now. It's Tag Team Champs LLC that we created specifically for the stuff that we're doing. Right now, the only thing that's really pulling in money is the writing, but the idea was it would handle all kinds of stuff. The biggest advantage that I'm using the LLC for is what they call it's a pass-through entity, which means all the revenue that comes into Tag Team Champs. The company doesn't pay taxes on it. Just the two of us, the partners, pay for what we get out of the company, which means by law, you have to keep your funds separate from the LLC itself. So any money that comes in has to be kept separate from your personal, because it has to be managed that way, it has to be like recorded that way. So that helps us keep the money separate and anyway, and move it around and make sure it like pays for things.
So the bank account itself is connected to an LLC. Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
like,
makes sense.
I have an LLC, which means you get the EIN, the employee identification number, and that is what we provide to like Etsy and Amazon, and we provide our bank information from that, and they just send the money directly to that, and we get the 1099s from those companies. They're strictly for the company. We use company funds to pay for advertising, not sponsorships, the subscriptions to not Amazon, Adobe, Dropbox, stuff like that, like software. The computer I use for like all my writing and art and stuff, it was paid for by the company funds, and then anything that's left over gets distributed to the we pay tax on what's left, basically.
Okay. Pretty cool.
So it makes it
you
easier.
have to so let's say you have an LLC and you don't like make any money, like you still have to like take care of that LLC, right? With like
you have to pay business licensing fees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You still have to pay all that. In Nevada, it's about, I want to say $700 a year. So it's not cheap, but it's not like prohibitively expensive. But one of the strengths of, you guys took up like both halves of this canvas.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll shrink mine down.
No, it's okay.
I'll move over. There you go. I'm on the iPad, so I can't gauge exactly how big I'm drawing.
So I was distracted now. What are we talking about?
It's because Brian wanted to draw today.
I wanted to draw today. I forgot. I lost my train of thought now.
We're talking about the tax.
The business license stuff. Yeah. If you're a sole proprietor, you don't have to do any of that stuff. It's all like your name is the name of the company. Although if you don't want your name in the company, you have to file like the DBA, the doing business as, to change your name. But if it's an LLC, that's just automatic. The name of the LLC is the business.
Okay. So at what point would it be advisable for like an artist or someone looking to sell their work as a business? At what point should they start an LLC, or is it totally optional?
Yeah, I think it's completely optional. Like the reason we started doing it was because an LLC is treated as like a single entity that can own other LLCs. So we were going to have like Tag Team Champs as like the parent LLC and have other ones underneath it. And it just turned into, we're just going to do everything through this one. So I feel like a business, like a partnership or a sole proprietor is probably best for artists, because there's no cost involved in setting that up. Like your name is your brand, because we talk about you are the brand anyway. So, I mean, if you want it to be, I want to say Edward Draw Stuff is okay because that's your name. But if you want to be Rurex, you have to do the DBA for that, which is like, I think, a one-time fee. You don't have to do an annual.
Oh, okay. So it could be the
business
only
licensing.
Rurex.
If you want that to be your sole proprietor company name. I still highly recommend, if you do sole proprietor, treat it like an LLC with the separate money, because I am going to point out the book I always talk about, Profit First, is the game changer. It is the game changer. That's when tag team champs started making money when we followed that. And that's all about not just a separate bank account for your business, but like 5 bank accounts.
Oh, wow.
To move money around. And obviously you can't do it at like a dumb brick and mortar greedy place like Wells Fargo that I have my account with, or
Wells
Bank of
Fargo
America
is
that
not
Alan
gonna
has
be a
account with.
sponsor.
Right.
Because they charge like minimum, or they charge fees for like minimum balance and stuff. So if you get in like an online bank, Soulbrush says definitely set up a business bank account.
Let's
Like
see.
if it's your main
knows?
income, you need to remember to pay yourself. That's right. That sounds like someone that read Profit First.
There you
Treat
go.
yourself.
What's happening, Soul Brush? Let's go. But so I mean, so basically, wouldn't you still be like? Isn't that not protecting yourself by just being a sole proprietor?
I mean, it's the only difference is if you take out like a business loan as yourself, and then your company goes under, you're on the hook to pay that loan back still.
Right.
Like if the business goes under, I hope that doesn't happen. They can't seize your personal assets to pay that loan back.
So that should be the reason right there, because I'm sure.
That sounds like it's a good idea, but it sounds like you're also when I fail, I don't have to owe.
I'm not saying that.
I know what you're saying, but I'm like that's like
you gotta think about all possible scenarios.
Yeah, but
I think Soulbrush needs to jump on here because he has the right idea.
I told him to jump in since he is also a LLC.
Yeah, hey, just jump on here, Soulbrush.
Can he jump on it?
I don't know. Can you send him the restream link so he can join us?
Well, let's see what he says first.
No, get in here.
He's like,
get over here.
Shit. I'll send it to him either way. So
okay.
If he jumps in, he jumps in, which he's always more than welcome.
You're more than welcome. If you're like he's saying, it depends how much you want to grow. Like if you're not going to be taking out like loans or if you're not going to be taking on any major risks, then like if you're just selling prints or t-shirts, like print on demand t-shirts and stuff, I mean, sole proprietorship is your safest bet. Or you don't want to join us. Or you can become an LLC later on. You can start as a sole proprietor and become an LLC. So you can see what works for you and what the other before you start to grow, you can branch out into the whole LLC thing. I will say that
don't say it like that, Brian.
he does want to join us, everyone, but he can't right now. That's all. That's what I meant to say.
He's too busy rubbing his lady's feet tonight. It's rubbing feet Wednesday.
I will say though that like setting up the LLC was like a like a stake in the ground. Like we basically said we're serious from this point. We're on the hook for like these annual fees. It's a hassle because you have to get like a registered agent that's legally authorized to accept like legal paperwork and government notices.
I feel like that's when it starts to feel real, though. Like just going ahead and getting that LLC is like the start to.
Yeah, and you can do it all yourself, but since I don't know how to do that, I use probably the legal website that everyone's thinking of to provide that service for me. You all know the one.
LegalZoom.
LegalZoom, who is not paying us. We don't have that LegalZoom money.
Censor that.
No.
No, but if they want to sponsor us, they can.
If they want to sponsor us, yeah.
Jet pens and LegalZoom.
Until then, you get the legal broom. Get out of here.
Ah.
All right, that was dumb.
Oh man, I guess that wasn't a pun, right?
No, I guess that wasn't a pun. I don't know what technically that kind of joke is.
I don't know.
So anyway,
Soulbrush says the registered agent is the weirdest part to him.
Yeah, it's like I'm legally allowed to accept notices, aren't I? But I guess you have to. It has to be. I will say since LegalZoom is they do operate in all 50 states. I do believe their registered agents are able, because it has to be registered to the state that you do business in. So if you want to grow to a different state, you need a registered agent that can handle all of that. And I want to say LegalZoom does that, but I didn't look closely because we didn't plan on leaving Nevada. So anyway,
I think
that's
with
the quick rundown.
I think what I'm wondering is just like tax time. So by the time I do my taxes, if I don't have two separate entities, isn't that just gonna screw with my regular income?
No, because you would do like a what's called a Schedule C, where you do all of your write-offs and business stuff. It costs more. Zen Business does that. It's LegalZoom versus Zen Business. The fight is on. The fight is on.
Who wants the sponsorship?
I don't know, but I wish I heard about Zen Business before. They got a dope name.
Okay.
So I used to file Schedule C stuff when I was doing freelance work, because I used to go through the effort of trying to write off more than the standard deduction. But the standard deduction is, I mean, it's a good thing. It's like, I believe, $24,000 for married couples. So I can't write off $24,000 of expenses every year. So the LLC is the easiest way to do it, where the company just pays for stuff, and we get the rest and then pay taxes on that. So, but I used to do the Schedule C stuff, writing off like art supplies and stuff like that.
That's right. I'm gonna.
So yeah, it's not any more difficult. It's just, you're not gonna. I mean, I guess it's difficult if you're trying to do your own taxes, but you just have to pay an accountant more. Like, I think it was like an extra $200 or $300 back then when I was doing the Schedule C, and now that's about what I pay my tax guy for my personal taxes. But we also pay him to handle the actual company's taxes too. So,
right,
which is set aside specifically from the profit first model.
I guess I should finish reading that book.
You should. You really should. Whether you do LLC or not, whether you do a business or not, because it works even for personal accounting. It's such an eye-opening thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, taxes are confusing as hell.
Yeah, I wish they could simplify the tax code stuff. Like, they try, but like, I think it's probably H&R Block or whatever dumb software company that does tax stuff is lobbying against it.
Yeah, we just did all our taxes earlier this week. It's just like, man, I hate tax time, because I wanted to.
They know what you make.
It's stressful. You just drew an ear right over my guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
No, I'll move it.
No, I got it. It's like, every year, because when we were younger, we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get like a tax return. So you're always like excited about that. So you do your taxes.
Yeah, you got your tax return because you have like stuff you want to buy.
Yeah, and like now you're older, and it's just like, I'm gonna pay. I know.
Yeah, I've been paying so much in taxes every year since we started writing, but because I think if any money that you take in through the company, the business, you have to pay, or any money that you take from the business, not that the business gets. So any money that passes through to you, you have to pay the self-employment taxes on that. Even if you have a full-time job, your job pays your employment taxes on your paycheck, but any money you get from your side business, you have to pay like your Social Security stuff out of that.
Right.
So even though, because we had some really good years, if you remember us talking about it, like I owe a lot of money in taxes every year, and I see that as like a point of pride.
Right.
Because I feel like that's how you're successful. And it doesn't hurt every year, because profit first, you set that money aside. Everything that comes in every month, you get money. It's distributed among the 5 different accounts.
I think we're just trying to find a way to pay less taxes. Because I know when they gave us the bill for our taxes this year, I was like, why the hell does Donald Trump pay less taxes than me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is he doing that I need to start doing?
I mean, probably fraud for Donald Trump,
Yeah.
but for
Yeah.
Well, I'm just
It's
saying rich people in general.
absolutely
yeah, rich
fraud.
people in general, like, especially guys like what's his face, the Berkshire Hathaway guy, Warren Buffett.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Warren
yeah.
Buffett. Yeah,
They don't have income. They make their money from investments, so they only pay capital gains taxes,
right.
which is so much lower than what we owe. It's like half the whatever bracket we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you that one of the best feelings is one of the taxes I have to pay is capital gains.
Mhm.
It's like $15, $20 total, but I feel like a boss when I pay that capital gains tax. I'm like, that's it. That's how the rich do it.
That's how the rich do it.
They pay 12 million, I pay $12. We're the same.
We're just saying. Yeah, it's just painful, and it's not painful. It's just like
It's pretty painful.
it's
Yeah,
painful.
yeah,
Yeah.
You could just
And I thought like getting the house last year would like help, but it's just like
They've been
it put it.
closing loopholes to help normal people for so long. It's like
Mm.
difficult.
There are there's loopholes, and like even like Rachel got like an increase, like significant increase would put us in like a different bracket,
hmm
but not in a bracket good enough to be
Yeah.
Well,
like
Yeah,
good
you gotta
enough
wait
to
to
pay.
get out of that bracket to get into the
Yeah, it's like this bracket works for the government taking our money, but
I do want to point out though, like a lot of people think when you're in another tax bracket, all your income is at the new tax bracket, but it's just the extra income is taxed at that new one. So
right,
it sucks. It sucks that you make more money and part of that more money gets taxed at a higher rate, but
hmm
you know.
I just want to be a kid again and not worry about bills.
I know. I know. Those are
I
the
think
days.
I think that's why I have the business take care of everything because I'm still a child. I'm just like bills here's my bank account. Just figure it out.
Yeah. You handle that.
Yeah, but they make it confusing on purpose almost to like
Yeah,
mess people up.
because the lobbyists, like it's like the people that have those tax software are actually lobbying
Yeah.
Congress to keep the tax code like difficult, so we have to pay them for their software to do it.
hmm
Can you imagine if we could do our own taxes? What? I would still
Yeah.
pay a guy because it'd probably be annoying still.
Right.
And plus, they know all the loopholes.
Yeah, they know all the
It's
loopholes.
like bullshit.
Yeah.
I want to know the loopholes.
Should have became like a CPA or something.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Sounds hard.
It
Sounds like
does.
your job is feast or famine. Like every year, like 1 month, everyone's rushing for your services,
Mhm.
and you don't have enough time to make enough money because you're limited. So you can like get the responsible people that ask early.
Right. Yeah, because they have to be doing stuff the rest of the year, right?
I mean, you can file an extension, so I guess they could do that too, and then handle the slackers afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I know in the past we've had to file extensions just because it's like this is just way too much.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But I think as we got older, we became a lot more responsible.
That's a good thing. That's what we like to hear. I want to say like the past, I guess like my early 40s, I spent so much time fiddling the paycheck withholding to where me and the government were square every year. Like, I don't owe you, you don't owe me. See you next year.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but like, every time you get like a raise or every time they change
Mhm.
something, you have to keep messing with it. And I was like, I can't do all this anymore. So I just left it alone for the longest time. And then I started writing and owe more anyway. So
Oh, look, we have
the Omni Asian. I don't know if she's being facetious or not. Is it a nice subject to talk about? Taxes? Or you mean our business? She means our business.
you know what, honestly, I wish they had taught us more about this type of stuff instead of like
Yeah.
like Algebra 2 trig.
Yeah.
I've never used that.
I mean,
have you? Have you?
no, but I'm not saying don't teach algebra 2 trig.
No, right.
But in
Or
addition to, yeah.
Yeah,
Also
in addition
teach-
to,
yeah.
like just life skills as far as like managing money, or it's like you have to go to what's his face to find out how to manage money. I can't remember his name. Old guy. He has a podcast.
Dave Ramsey?
Dave Ramsey. Yeah.
Yeah, go there if you want him to yell at you for getting Starbucks.
I know. Right?
He has some good advice that I approve of.
Right.
But
I'm not saying
he's an old head. He's that mentality, like it's your fault mentality.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it's not your fault. I'm saying it's not always your fault.
He's like one of these people that think people are poor and
Yeah, like
just
by
because
choice of
by
their
choice.
choices. Yeah,
Yeah.
because of their purchasing choice. I'm like partially true,
right.
but also greed, corporate greed.
Oh,
Greed.
yeah.
And I truly,
Capitalism.
Our
Yeah.
poor choices didn't make gas and food cost more.
and like lower income like people, it's like there's not an even playing field. I'll say
Yeah.
that right here.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
yeah,
No, you're
I
absolutely
agree
right.
with you. Like it's not their choices. It's
It's a system.
they're being taken advantage
It's the
of.
system, man.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
system is straight up racist, and it's
Like
gonna
if we
be.
had- That's the other thing I
Let's talk
dislike
about
about.
Jetsons.
Let's talk about Jetsons. You know what the Jetsons are.
But that's the other thing I dislike about trying to start a small business is having to handle your own health insurance stuff. Like if they did Medicare for all, they would be benefiting small businesses. I feel like we know Walmart would still be greedy, but they wouldn't do that dumb move where they give everyone 30 hours so they don't have to provide any benefits,
Mhm.
because they wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't need to do that. They could just like give people 40-hour shifts and still underpay them, so they have to get like SNAP benefits still, because corporate greed.
Because of corporate greed. Everything's. What did all the Asians say? Can't draw the day on the bank bug. I learned. Oh yeah, it's all good.
That's fine. If
It's
I don't have to draw, you don't have to draw.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to draw. Never mind. I have to draw.
Brian has to draw, but God forbid, like an ear goes over his drawing because he'll just viciously attack you.
Oh, I better finish after I reclaim my spot like that.
I wasn't planning to draw the iPad today, so I feel like I can't draw the iPad.
It's hard for me to draw on this iPad, but like I think more than anything, it's hard for me to draw on Magma.
The thing I don't like about Magma is like shortcut keys. Like I don't have them.
Yeah, like I don't know all the gestures. I don't know how to fiddle with layers easily. I don't even know how to deselect very easily, even though we've discussed it several times on the show.
I don't know any of the key. I'm just like, just try to draw something and just use the brush and the eraser. And
Yeah,
then-
everything's on one layer
Yeah,
with
it's just-
brush and eraser. So, what were we talking about? We're ranting about
the
Go-
taxes.
The government and the corruption.
government and corruption.
And corporate greed.
The key to living large, y'all, is investments. Get those capital gains taxes.
Is this financial advice, Brian?
No,
No, he
I-
made a
it's-
disclaimer.
it's
Okay.
like garbage. It's that garbage thing that like if you read books about how to like be financially independent,
Mhm.
they're always like, oh, well, just save half your money. It's like, how? People don't
Yeah.
get paid enough to save half their money.
Yeah.
Like I was fortunate to be able to save a portion of my money, but I am
That's-
privileged, and I admit that. I have basically got every job I had from connections in the industry. So
Well, are you trying to say that you didn't deserve it?
I'm saying I didn't do this myself.
Oh,
You
gotcha.
had a helping hand.
I had a helping hand. So
Yeah.
when the Dave Ramsey of the world are like, don't get your Starbucks every morning. I don't know why I make him sound like dollar store Stan Lee.
He kind of sounds like a dollar store Stanley.
He has like my favorite piece of advice is he
Don't get
talked about
vaccinated.
is
Is that what you're saying?
did he say that? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh.
Never mind. I'm not going to parrot this advice then. I'm going to say someone else said it. Brian Manning says, if you need a car, what you do is save up for a used car because you ain't trying to stunt right now. You ain't trying to stunt. So instead of a down payment, that's just your car. That you just buy your car. Again, I didn't take that advice fully. We put down as much as possible and took out a loan and then just paid the car off in a year or less than if we could. It's very beneficial, I think, to not have car payments. So I liked that random person's advice, not Dave Ramsey, advice on how to buy a used car.
No, my former boss, he made his money by investing in Apple, like way, way early on. So
Oh, and he's like, why can't you do that?
no, well, no, but he
Why
was
can't
like,
you find a company that will make
he was
billions?
he was basically super successful with that. So he gave me like a piece of financial advice. He said, best advice I could give you is never buy a new car. That's what he said.
Yes, never buy a new car because
All the things.
it
It's like,
depreciates in value the second you drive it off the lot.
I was like, that's such a weird thing to say. But then, like, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
See, imagine the religion says making connections isn't privilege; it's a skill on its own.
That's true.
I agree with you. I'm gonna say though, I didn't go out of my way to make those connections. I'm just the goofy, happy-go-lucky kind of guy I
Because
am.
everyone loves you,
Because
right?
everyone loves me. And the people I've worked with before that I've cracked jokes with and stuff like that are usually the ones that have helped me get other jobs. So, but yes, absolutely, making connections is a skill. So don't delete your LinkedIn profile like I did.
Or just start a new one.
I'm not gonna start a new one. I hate LinkedIn.
I hate LinkedIn.
Don't listen to me, people.
It's worse than Facebook sometimes.
Agreed.
Another good way to make millions or billions as an artist is you could do what David Cho did. And,
Is he the one that did the painting for Facebook?
yeah, he did
Yeah.
the mural.
Yep.
And then they couldn't afford to pay him, so they're like, "Here, take
Just
some
give 'em
stock."
Yeah, just do that. Just work for stock for literally every startup, and one of them will hit, right?
And now he's
Has
on
to.
Netflix.
And now he's on Netflix
He's on that
with
show
the
Beef.
weirdest interview show.
I know. I'm talking.
Well, he
I saw
just
the-
did a Beef.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
on Beef.
that's right. Oh my God, that's
Oh,
it.
so
That's
good.
Isaac, right?
Yeah, I'm only through episode 3 right now, but
It's
It's
so
a good
good.
show.
it's pretty
a
good.
show.
And I like how it's just not like traditionally Asian.
Yeah,
they're
it's
not-
like they happen to be Asian, but that's not.
Yeah,
like, the
Yeah.
it's
focal
like
point, which
watching
is
every other
very refreshing.
dirtbag, greedy American
Yeah, exactly.
dark
That's like
comedy,
Asians
except they're
could
just
be
all
shitty,
Asians.
too.
they don't work in a Chinese restaurant or no
Yeah.
kung fu. It's
Yeah.
just, God, that irritates me. I mean, I do.
Yeah, there's no goofy Asian stereotype stuff about it. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it,
Mhm.
I guess the closest is using their name as their business, their last name is part of their business
Oh, the
name. That always
chosen
cracked me up.
ones. Yeah.
Chosen ones, Cho Bros, and at Cho Service.
Yeah.
You know that guy Joseph Lee that's on that show?
Who is he?
He's the husband of.
Oh, Ali Wong's character?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
actually an artist.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know
Oh,
if-
really?
I don't know
Does
if
he
you've
make
seen his
those
stuff.
whack vases in real life?
No, I don't think those are his works. But
Okay.
if you check out his work, it's pretty cool stuff.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to look that up.
That's nice. That's cool.
But yeah, the stuff on the show is like I don't know who did that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of the gag.
Yeah. But I only recognized him because he was on like Star Trek recently. I was like, is that the same guy? 'Cause I'm really good at like facial recognition on like TV shows.
Uh-huh.
I can spot someone in one show and
So
like,
you know what show they're from. You just don't know their name.
Yeah.
Like I know the character's name.
Okay. But yeah, I was sidetracked with David Cho and then
David Cho. I think I'm drawing Sagat.
Well, we were talking about
Fiber.
making money,
Eat your spinach
you.
for
and he
fiber.
made money by selling that painting. or doing their
Right.
mural.
Yeah, that's how you make money. Everyone is work for
Get lucky.
exposure.
Yeah.
Get lucky, or do NFTs because
No.
Oh, the exposure. Think of the exposure.
right? How many messages I've got through emails or Instagram like,
Trying to get you
hey,
NFT stuff.
it's like, screw you.
Go get AI NFTs like everyone else. Yeah, that's the funny thing is like the NFT crowd is tired of seeing AI generated NFTs, so they're trying to get like regular artists to do it again.
Because AI art is garbage.
It all looks the same. It's like, hey, so do the Bored Apes.
Oh,
Like
those Bored
everyone's
Apes
doing
were so
everyone's doing
stupid.
adjective animal NFTs.
Oh yeah. Oh, so what's the cost of one of those Bored Apes now?
I don't know, $7.
$7.
Less than an LLC from LegalZoom or Zen Business.
Damn.
Actually, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with.
I
haven't
haven't.
been keeping up
Yeah.
with NFTs.
All right.
I feel like there's more we can be covering with this.
Yes. Share your knowledge, Brian. He's choking now.
Wait, how much did an LLC cost initially?
If you pay the company that like I don't know how much Zen Business charges, but like LegalZoom has a
okay.
intro package that's like $99, and then you look at it like, oh, that's cheap, and then you look at what they provide, and you're like, I don't want to do the rest of that, so they obviously upsell you. I ended up paying like I want to say $299
Okay.
for the initial thing, plus the licensing fees for the state. So you're still on the hook for that, whether you pay the $99 or not.
Mhm.
And then the state is like for something for the business license.
Yeah, I
So.
think with the LLC, I'm just debating at this point. Like, I think it'd be good, but it's also like, well, I guess I'm committing to doing more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm actually
I would
surprised you don't
recommend-
have one already. Considering.
Yeah, I know. I honestly thought you would have. I would start
you
with a
sell
sole
at like
proprietor.
conventions and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but I would start with sole proprietorship, and then just under your own name, unless you want to do the DBA Blaze. So yeah, start with a sole proprietorship. Don't grow too fast and take on debt, so you don't have to worry about like any financial liabilities. And I guess don't commit crime under your sole proprietor name.
Damn it.
No,
That was the whole
crime.
point.
Whether you're an LLC or not, don't do crime. Don't do crime.
I was gonna start a LLC called Evil Villain.
Evil
LLC.
Villain?
That was the illegal branch of
Yeah.
of what I do. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with doing it, right? I mean, what's the drawback? Like, what's the biggest thing? Like,
For the LLC, it's just costs and the paperwork involved, like the registered agent stuff. Again, all that's handled through LegalZoom. I imagine Zen Business does the same. LegalZoom, please pay me. Please pay us. please clap. I think if you can make the money to pay to cover like all your expenses, including like those fees, you might as well do that, right?
right.
You might as well make it real. Separate it from your personal life.
And
Make it its own entity.
And I could also like write off like art supplies, equipment.
Oh yeah, the company buys those art supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you don't pay taxes on any money that doesn't reach you.
Right.
So again, that's why your money has to be separate, because if you use your personal debit card and buy art supplies and say, oh, well, that the company bought that, the IRS is going to be like, nah, son.
Gotcha.
You knew you're supposed to keep that separate.
And so let's say I have like a separate entity like this LLC, and I get a credit card for it, and I'm just like, you know what? I want some Nikes. So, and like, not that I would do that, but I'm just saying,
I don't know.
Like, do I get write-offs on that, or do I have to?
I
be
don't
like
know.
Athletic.
Like, I do know.
You gotta walk to places.
You know, walk to get the tax credit.
And like fitness like memberships,
Mhm.
but I don't think you can. I don't think they're paying for your Nikes.
Right, but they might like buy
All
our
right,
supplies.
just a second. I gotta mute my mic. Heather's calling me.
Right.
How do I mute?
So when you were selling at the conventions and stuff,
Mhm.
um, like the profits that you make off of that, is there something where it's like depending on how much money you make, you don't have to like file that kind of stuff? That's what I've never understood because I've never actually sold my work.
Oh,
Like a
yeah, yeah. I mean,
there
you
has
have
to
to.
be like a threshold that it's like
Yeah,
right.
I feel like there's like, was it like 2,000? Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
I know
Threshold
there
what?
were like Elisa was asking about threshold as far as like when you should pay taxes. Like, what is the
All
Yeah.
again, the only thing I know is the gambling winnings, like anything 1,200 and over.
right?
That's why jackpots are 11.99.
Right.
Yeah, because I know. Well,
I'm sure there is a threshold for personal stuff. Like I don't think IRS is gunning for hobbyists
Small
making
business. Yeah.
yeah,
$400 in prints every year.
But wasn't there something that happened like a few years ago where they changed like the amount or something and like a whole bunch of like small businesses were pissed?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought there was something
I'm
that
gonna
happened.
highly recommend you all look that up.
mhm.
I already know we exceed that threshold,
Mhm.
so I'm not even gonna play around with the government.
Yeah. They're listening.
They're listening right now. They're
Oh yeah,
scanning
when
our
that
podcast.
SB 286 passes, they'll be listening to this podcast every week. We'll have more
Wh-
listeners.
what is that?
It was that one that they was claiming was for banning TikTok, but is Patriot Act the internet version,
Uh,
Oh, I see.
where they can spy on all of our internet activity.
isn't that what happens when you own a phone?
Oh yeah, they listen to all our phone calls now.
Okay,
They're trying to do that with internet stuff. That's what that
gotcha.
act is. And they're like, oh, we're trying to do it to ban TikTok. And I'm like, at first I was like, yes, free me from this prison. But
This entertaining prison.
then you got to be like, why this entertaining prison? And you're like, why are they trying to ban TikTok? What's going on? And you got to look deeper.
Knowledge is power, man.
Knowledge is power.
They don't like information getting out there. Is that the
Yeah,
whole
they
thing?
don't.
The IRS is trying to shut down this podcast because we're talking about business. They
And
don't care about us. They're small
and
potatoes.
fast food restaurants don't want us to know about all their hacks.
Oh, In and Out is like, shut them down.
Shut them
Shut
down.
down TikTok. You know how many animal style this and that we're giving away?
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah,
So,
but
if you're, I mean, I know you're serious about making money as with your art. So LLC does make sense for you because it'll light a fire under your butt like it did
yeah,
for us.
and sometimes I need stuff like that.
Yeah. So most people I would recommend sole proprietorship, but I feel like Ed, you're in that position to do an LLC, especially when that comic comes out.
That's
That
right.
comic.
I did actually start doing layouts for that.
Oh, nice.
So finally.
Well, I mean it wasn't. I just last week got you those scripts, so and pages.
That's
so
true.
We're
That's true.
dragging our
I
feet.
can't wait to read that thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be the best thing you've ever read.
It's gonna be
No.
the best.
I believe it.
It's gonna be the best.
I'm just hyping it up. You're probably open.
Yeah,
the
we have to
first
hype it up
page.
because
I'm like,
This is garbage.
Well,
it's about
I mean-
wrestling. Why
yeah,
is
because
this
remember,
wrestling?
I want to say we made a change specifically because we knew Elisa was more about the Attitude Era. That's why we made the change of when it takes place.
hell yeah.
That's the
References, I
story.
can
I'm sticking to
understand.
that story now. It's not just because I decide I felt like it would be more engaging to more audience. It's because Elisa likes the Attitude Era.
Hey, you gotta appeal to the millennials. That's what
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think it was a matter of Ed and I like having to admit that we're old. I mean, we're experienced, we're high level.
Yeah.
So the WWE era back when it was WWF era, that we love is not the same one that most people love. So
Whole different time period.
either, like, it doesn't matter what
The
generation.
name,
We
because
can all agree that Roman Reigns has been holding that title way too long.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
You're
did
okay?
they have to change the name though? Because the World Wildlife Fund, is that what happened?
Yes, which is a newer group, by the way. The World Wrestling Federation was older and had the name first, but the World Wildlife Fund somehow managed to win that lawsuit or whatever they did to get them to stop calling themselves the WWF.
Picture
Maybe
like a
it
panda in court.
You're right.
Yeah,
A panda in a suit.
That's why I like that logo. Like someone did the WWF and it's two pandas and one's holding like a steel chair, like getting ready
Oh,
to hit
that's
the
great.
other one. It just says WWF. That's a great shirt.
Yeah, I think in general, I have to do more research on it.
I would definitely look into the LLC stuff. There are lots of advantages to having like an entity to run your business under. I mean, there's options too. You could do like one of the corporate options too, but those always seem stuffy. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing an S corp or whatever.
Yeah, I saw stuff like that, like a C corp and a S
C
corp.
corp. Yeah, C corp is the typical ones, the big dogs that we used to see.
Just like,
S
nah.
corp is the smaller ones. Yeah, nah, we're not doing that.
I'll start with an LLC if anything. That just sounds too complicated for me.
Yeah, I think like corporations are when there are more people involved, and then there's way more oversight from like I don't know, the SEC. I don't know who. Like you have to have like a board of directors and stuff like that, but you don't have to do that for sole proprietor or LLC.
Right. Why would you be on my board?
No, I don't want to be part of a corporation because there's,
Okay.
like I said, there's rules involved.
My rules, damn it.
I can't commit crimes as part of a corporation, whereas LLC, I can. Wait, don't commit crimes as LLC, everyone. Don't listen to Brian.
Brian says, look into fraud.
Look into fraud. I am going to say, I feel like Mike McCallowitz should be paying me. I love all of the books he writes on business. He wrote Profit First. He wrote one called The Pumpkin Plan, which I love. I love the concept of that, which is cutting dead weight. If you have problem clients that don't bring you as much money, you cut them off. Let the other clients grow. He wrote one called Clockwork, which is how I use I use a lot of that to manage time and how like the productivity and stuff like that. And then I think Clockwork is also the one where it's about putting the right people in position to take care of the stuff you don't want to do, which is why Alan and I started hiring cover artists for some of our books.
Just do it, man.
I do want to do covers, but not all the covers.
Brian didn't even come to me and offer, like, hey, do you want to do a cover?
You're doing comic books. You're doing my comic.
You're doing our comic.
My comic. Our comic, everyone. Don't listen to Brian.
Brian's like slowly pushing me out of the equation.
Yeah. Slowly, I'm going to become Bob Kane.
And I'll be
Bill Finger.
Bill Finger. Damn it! I'm gonna die alone and poor in an apartment in Manhattan.
I watched the Image documentary on Amazon Prime way too much to ever push you out of ownership of this comic.
All right, great documentary, by the way.
Documentary. What's it called? The Image something. The Image.
Just look up Image.
Look up Image Comics documentary. It's fantastic. Fantastic. It's very inspirational because it's Todd McFarlane yelling at Marvel Comics.
Yeah. All he wanted was a
25
watch.
years, we didn't get a watch. We didn't get a t-shirt.
That's the reason he left.
Can you imagine Marvel just started giving him Spider-Man t-shirts? We wouldn't have had Spawn or Image Comics.
Yeah, that's all he wanted was swag. It wasn't even extra cash.
It would have taken like probably $1,000 a year total to keep Image Comics from ever popping off.
Yep. Oh damn it! I thought I had the crown first.
Ah, me too.
I zoomed out. I'm like, there's the crown. Should have went with the floating top hat.
I know. I thought that was gonna be your signature thing now.
I saw. Actually, it's funny because my daughter, she's been playing Powerpuff Girls over and over, like because it came on Netflix or something. So she's just
Yeah.
been binging that.
Such a good show.
Oh my
And
god,
she's
what did
just like,
Silverfish just say? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Oh. Let's see, Footman and Ed: The Story of Ed Finger. Jesus
it's Ed
Christ.
Toes. Ed Toes.
Soul Toes.
Soul Toes.
So Kenny Soul Toes. But yeah, but she's been watching that a lot, and she's just like, Dad, I see totally where you get all your stuff from. This is like,
You're like, I was supposed to be there.
it's like, yeah, like because I was going to school for animation during like
Yeah.
that whole time period of like Samurai Jack and
Hmm.
Powerpuff Girls. So that's everyone during that time period was drawing that shit.
Oh, totally. There's always like this like design choice that I feel like kind of permeates the industry, and like
Mhm.
Well, it carried forward too.
Adventure Time had their moment, and then
Yeah, like, but it carried
Yeah.
forward to like that whole late '90s Cartoon Network carried it forward to like
Mhm.
the Nickelodeon stuff, like the Butch Hartman, Steven Silver stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just everything with like with a really heavy line
yep.
and a floating hat. Because my daughter, she mentioned that like because like the mayor of Townsville, he totally has like that
Oh,
little
that's
hat.
right. Yeah.
And I was like, no, I didn't steal it from that, but I totally did. I totally did. I was
feel like
probably in school and I was like, "Ooh, I like that." It
the OG was like Hellboy. I feel like with
was like Hellboy.
Oh yeah.
the
exactly.
crown.
But that was more like magical in nature, supernatural,
Yeah.
flaming crown. It
So-
counts.
Rorax, whose side are you on?
Oh.
Hero, what is that? Hero Kahaha?
I'm
Hero,
laughing.
It's like battle cry. I don't know. I'm neutral in the foot toe thing. I take no sides.
yeah, she's neutral on that. She's more of an ASMR girl.
That's
Yes.
right.
She likes the sound of toes softly
I like
rubbing the microphone.
The silky sound of toes and jello.
The scratchy, callous sound of toes on the
Yeah.
microphone.
Like yeah, the sound of like getting a pedicure.
The cheese grater droning
Oh,
of the
God.
pedicure.
Cheese grater on the heels. Little
God.
Parmesan.
Oh, God, I want to throw up.
I'm glad I'm not eating spaghetti tonight.
Oh yeah.
I had Alfredo, tortellini with Alfredo tonight, and my son was grating the Parmesan. I had to make sure that's not his feet, is it?
God, that's so gross.
He's really good at cooking, so I'm glad he was doing that.
That's cool.
Well, that's good. You got like a free servant.
A free servant.
I'm not
Came
gonna
at a
say
price.
slave.
He's way more into cooking, and that like I have a couple of go-to recipes that I do several times a week
Mhm.
or a couple times a week, but he's basically expanding the menu in this house, and I love it.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. Is he going to culinary at all, or gonna get a job
No,
at like
that
a
was the
kitchen?
plan. I think the idea now is get him like a apprenticeship at one of the restaurants, the union restaurants.
Yeah.
So that way he can at least get paid
you
while
could-
he's learning to cook.
But yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
he just
start that way.
has to work his way cleaning.
That's
You know,
fine. That's fine
fine.
with me. That's a-okay with me.
It's kind of cool. You get like you get all aspects of the job that you appreciate, like
Right, yeah.
what everybody does in the back of the
Everything
house.
involved in that restaurant
Mhm.
you learn.
Yeah, it's kind of like tattoo apprenticeship. Like
I-
my apprenticeship, I was like cleaning toilets and like scrubbing floors, and I was, but it was worth it. You know, you're
You're
getting
around those people still. You're around
yeah,
that.
you're around it. So,
I told him not to watch The Bear, even though I love that show, but it's very stressful. I was like, I don't want
Oh
to
my
scare him away
God.
from being in a restaurant.
That episode,
watch
the
The
second to
Bear.
last, where the
With the printer.
receipts or where that I was
That was a
watching
stressful
that.
episode.
oh man,
Have you
it
seen The
was
Bear?
so
Ed?
bad.
no, what's it
It's on
on?
FX. It's a show. I think it's
Was
a
it
dark
Hulu?
comedy. It feels more like a drama. It's on Hulu right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a guy that he's like a former Michelin star chef that comes back to run like a family restaurant after his brother kills himself.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't sound like a comedy at all.
Right.
I think it's labeled as a dark comedy.
Yeah. It's great though. It's really
so
good TV.
It's so good. Like the episodes are short, but they feel like 17 hours long because of all the stress.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're 30-minute episodes. I feel like you worked an entire shift in the restaurant.
There's a lot of drama comedies out now.
Yeah, like Beef. That's a
Yep.
dark comedy.
Yeah.
It's very heavy in the drama in the second half of that
Yeah.
series, and
I
it's
want
so
to laugh
good.
and cry.
I don't want to spoil it for Ed, but it's so good. So good.
Well, I watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, like
And I
the
was just
second
like-
half, it gets less comedy and more drama.
It is very good though. It's
It's
refreshing
So good.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I know is like Ali Wong has some weird thing with a gun. And like I
Did you
thought,
not
Oh.
see that episode yet? Is that not in the third episode?
I think so. Oh no, well yeah.
It's in the trailer
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
where she's like talking to the gun.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the story was behind it. I just know
She does other
was-
stuff with the gun.
Yeah, I saw that. At first, I was thought, oh, why did the husband hide the safe number? Maybe she's suicidal. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, no. Maybe
Oh,
she
no.
has an LLC and thinks she can commit crimes with a gun.
Shit. But yeah, pretty good show. I'll probably finish it this week. I'm not a binge watcher. I can't do it. Can't
I
do it.
binged it.
You
I
just,
binged it.
I watched it over the weekend.
I have guilt binging stuff. So
I normally do, but basically, I devote my days to writing. Say hi, Heather.
Hello.
I devote my week to my Monday through Friday to writing. So on the weekends, I do very little writing, and I do stuff like watch TV and play video games.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, how you been liking the independent living?
At first, every day felt like Sunday, and it was weird.
Right.
My own stuff, so it didn't feel like I was working. But I got to work tomorrow. But then tomorrow comes, and I'm doing my own stuff, so I'm not really working. But I got to work tomorrow.
Are you finding it harder to stay on schedule?
It was harder to separate the days and work on a steady rhythm. So a friend of mine was like, what you need to do is pick 2 days out of the week, like Monday. We decided on Monday and Thursday, where I just put my head down and write. I don't talk to nobody. I don't answer the phone. I don't tell jokes on Twitter. I'm just Mondays and Thursdays.
You
Full
stay
days
off
of writing.
TikTok. You stay off of
I
TikTok.
stay off of TikTok after business hours.
Right, of course.
So I write just like crazy. Last week was the first week I started doing it. I finished a rough draft of our new book in 1 week, and I'll have the first draft done this week and hand it off to Alan and be like, that's twice as fast as I normally do it. So it's been working out quite well. Plus, I read a lot more now. Like if I'm in front of the screen writing too much, I just go sit on the couch and start reading. Speaking of The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, I get it now, Ed. I get it.
I've been telling you.
You've been telling me. You're like, stop hunting Pokemon when you listen. Just pay attention.
He's an interesting dude.
He is. He absolutely is.
Have
That's
you
why I
read his
got
book?
the book. But the book itself,
I haven't read the book, but I've seen
I highly
several
recommend
interviews
it.
with him, and he's a very fascinating person.
I'm like 80% of the way through the book. I highly recommend
Yeah,
it.
Brian was telling me like it's too hippie for
Too
me.
hippie.
I'm like,
Very heady and esoteric, which is true for the first 2 chapters, but then he starts talking about like how all that applies to the creative person. It's still heady and esoteric, but at least he's talking about creativity, and everything he says resonates. I'm like, oh, I get why you were talking like that at the beginning. You can't just open with that.
And like I'm reading it, and I'm just like, he's talking to me.
Exactly.
Oh, that's heavy.
He's like,
You know?
hey, you got all these ideas. Don't hold back on them. Just work on them, because the next one will show up. And the more you do, the better you get. I was like, right on, Rick Rubin. Right on.
And he has such a gentle voice.
He's so gentle. I was like, I'm going to be
Oh, you got the audiobook?
Yeah, I got the audiobook.
Nice.
But it's just like, yeah, like well, even if you see him on interviews and stuff, it's just like,
Yeah.
He's
oh
very
wow.
laid back. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's how I got turned on to the book. It's like he was in an interview I just caught on YouTube. I was
But
like, oh wow, I've never really listened to him talk about stuff
But
before.
that's how he treats the musicians he works with too. He doesn't.
Mhm.
He's not like a tyrant. Because he was saying one artist was like working on some album and she was struggling to do the next one. He's like, "Hey, you already did this one. If you feel like you don't have to write music anymore, that's cool."
Mhm.
And that inspired her to make more music.
That's cool.
I was like, "Right on, Rick Rubin.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
mean-
for the Beastie Boys."
He produced a Jay-Z also, did he?
He produced a ton of
Yeah.
like random people that you would
Mhm.
not think like he would do, like rap artists and like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I think
he's
he
all over the
produced
place.
Slipknot too. It's like so weird.
Slipknot. I think he was
he
with
did
Def Jam for a while.
Metallica.
I don't know if he was employed by Def Jam, but he worked with a lot of Def Jam artists
Yeah, like in the
and
early
a lot of other
'80s.
like rock bands and stuff.
Yeah, he was doing stuff with like Run DMC, Beastie Boys.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he did like the Metallica Black album. So it's just like he's like all
Yeah.
over the place.
If you listen to him though, it doesn't seem like he would do any of that. And
Yeah.
he's not like musically trained. He doesn't play instruments,
Mhm.
but he's that guy. He's that guy that understands how to get that work out of people. I don't know how he discovered it. I don't know how he fell into that.
It's like, oh, I'm good at producing music with like no real background in like
Yeah.
how to do it.
Hasn't he always been like a super hippie type? Like
But he
I
was
feel like
kinda,
he
like,
accidentally fell into that. Like, hey
Introduced to
man,
the arts early.
yeah,
Mhm.
I was reading, I think like his aunt or something was like a huge influence on him by like exposing him to art and music and stuff at such a young age. So
yeah,
he just seemed like a very cultured young kid.
yeah.
Okay. So
So
that's
yeah,
what
I
happens.
I walk a lot more
Yeah.
and listen to Rick Rubin. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
was
very
telling
good.
you, yeah, because when I was talking to you about it the first time, I was like, "Come on, Brian, you have to read
come on,
it."
come on, Brian.
It's like
Don't be
any
like that.
any artist, any creative, just like get that book, read it, listen to it, whatever.
Because he's talking to you.
He's talking to
talking
you. Yeah, like I felt that immediately once
Whoa.
and I was just like, man, this guy knows me.
He gets me.
He's my people. He knows.
Well, that is something we've talked about before. Like artists get other artists. It's like when
Yeah,
you're creative,
yeah.
it's like you either create or you're not a creator. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
and
it's nice
you
and
know,
relatable.
but he says he delivers a message that everyone needs to hear without sounding like those self-help guys that think you need tough love to hear it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the softest, roundest way of delivering the message.
Was this his first book?
I don't know. I have no idea. I saw it on like a list of recommended ebooks on Audible. So I picked up that one and Green Lights, the Matthew McConaughey one.
Yeah, how is that?
I'm going to say I enjoyed it, but there's a strange creative decision where he mentions movies that he made in the early 2000s. He drops the name of the movie Tiptoes and then doesn't talk for another hour about how strange that movie is.
Oh,
Tiptoes is
yeah.
the worst. Shit.
How are you going to mention that and then not spend the next hour telling us how weird
Because you don't want to talk about it. Because
Yeah, he's just like, I made, like whatever movie made with Kate Hudson, and I made Tiptoes, and I'm like, hold on, stop, rewind. I listened to this whole audiobook waiting for you to talk about Tiptoes.
You almost wonder, like, if they told Gary Oldman, like, "Hey, you're gonna play like a small person, just
wear your shoes on your knees."
Yeah, wear your shoes on your knees. It's just expressing yourself.
And he's gonna be like, "Hey, is that Peter Dinklage? Maybe he should be the main character."
It
Like,
is
no one knows
crazy
who that is right now.
that Gary Oldman would take that role.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
So I was like, stand in this hole.
Lost a bet or
That was like
stand in this hole. Hey, you
someone
ever
had
seen
dirt
Tim
on him or
Conway?
something.
Tim
Yeah.
Conway
Oh,
did
they
that
had
dwarf
to.
on golf. That's what you're gonna do this whole movie.
Yeah.
Oh my! Have you ever seen the trailer for Tiptoes?
Yeah, I had never
Yeah.
heard of the movie till
I only saw the
some
trailer.
podcast
Oh,
played the trailer.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the movie. Did
But
you see the movie yet?
no.
He
Okay.
saw it in the
tra-
theaters.
You saw it in theater, so
I
he's
was
like,
the first one
I
in
was standing on my
Yeah.
tiptoes saying 2 for tiptoes, please.
It's one for tiptoes.
1 for tiptoes, please, because no one wants to be seen in this.
Oh my god! But like the trailer for that movie says because I guess it's late '90s. It just
It
has that whole '90s.
Seems like a
Yeah,
parody.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's a joke, right? It's like no, this can't be real.
Like this
Gary,
is Mad TV,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, this is like Gary Oldman on SNL. He's totally just like it's not true.
What's Blaze asking? Do you have a role playing campaign you're in? Is it because we're acting weird right now? Is that why you're asking? Ed, you normally run a D&D thing. Is that still going on?
It's not going on. Well, pandemic kind of put a whole big stop to it.
Yeah, but like your new company, are you suckering those people into?
Oh no, they're
Your
trying to
torture
sucker me. They're
chambers?
trying to sucker me in because they have one, and I'm just like, I don't know. But actually, my buddy Aaron, he's trying to get me into Warhammer 40K, and I'm just like,
Warhammer, like the actual miniature thing?
yeah, the actual
Uh,
miniatures, like the armies, and I'm just like, God,
It's so much work.
it's so
Yeah,
much work,
so much
and
money.
It's so much.
You need to be
money.
paying like capital gains taxes before you can build an army.
Exactly.
That's like Berkshire Hathaway money.
I was like, can I write this Warhammer army off in taxes? Can I write off on that?
So to answer Blaze's question, I am not currently in an RP campaign. Oh, Omni Asian's got to head out.
All right, see you.
Yeah,
Thanks
I
for
am not
stopping by.
currently in any campaign. I live vicariously through my kids who are playing D&D every week.
Yeah, you
through
played
Found.
with them before, right? Until they kicked you out.
I played her
Oh.
one shot.
I'm kidding.
I ran that Ice Spire Peak, that boxed campaign.
Oh, I'm
Because
Because
doing
I
a
had never run
boxed-
D&D before.
I'm doing a boxed one right now.
Yeah, I ran Ice Spire Peak for them, and then they have a Foundry. I don't know what it's called, subscription, or is it they just purchased it? I don't know how a Foundry works, but they write and run their own campaigns. They just take turns doing it.
That's cool.
So every week I get to hear about all the shenanigans, and I'm like, what did Billy do this week?
I did watch the D&D movie last weekend.
Oh, how was it?
It was actually pretty good, especially
really
I can't
good.
wait to see that.
especially if you're a player, and you know the lore.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh shit, they actually did that. You know?
I'm not
it's
as versed on the
surprisingly good.
lore as being more of a Palladium books guy, but
I was a DM for like years, so
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I have to know the lore.
yeah. But I can't wait to see it though. It looks really good.
There's been a lot of really good movies lately.
Yeah,
I heard John Wick 4 was really good.
John Wick was great. Mario was great.
Mario.
I did see Mario. The kids went and saw Mario while we went to see D&D.
Oh, nice.
What did they think of it though? Did they
Oh, they
enjoy
loved it. They loved it.
It was really well done.
Yeah, I don't know why there was so much hate on it before.
Because
It
people
came
hate
out-
Chris Pratt.
D&D or
Yeah.
Mario?
Oh, like I guess Chris Pratt in particular.
Yeah, but he's just the voice, right?
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever seen the old one?
Yeah.
You should be yelling
Have
at
you-
whoever.
Yeah.
Have you played the games? He doesn't talk in that one either. Yahoo!
Right.
Alan is so mad at everyone that acts like they like that Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo one, that '90s one. He's like,
People are lying.
act like, yeah, you
They're
guys act like
lying.
you like that one. He's madder than I am at the people that claim they like Point Break before Hot Fuzz came out.
Oh, I'd like
Nobody
Point Break.
likes Point
No,
Break.
I like Point Break.
You
before
liar!
Hot Fuzz.
You're
I am
younger
not-
though. You're young enough to think that was a cool movie.
Oh yeah, I played that so many times. Every time it came on HBO, I was like, "Oh, Point Break's on, gotta watch it."
I was part of the I love how goofy this movie is. And then the more I watch it, I really liked the concept of the ex-presidents as a bunch of bank robbers. But
Oh,
that
it's so
movie's
good.
whack. That movie's whack.
It's not whack. You take that back.
Whack.
Keanu is a national treasure. You leave him alone.
Oh my god. You know what? He is a national treasure. And in the 90s, I was a hater because I didn't know how much of a national treasure he was. Because we didn't have the internet.
Right.
I mean, we had the internet, but it was trolling each other on AOL,
Oh my
chat
God.
rooms.
God, I remember chat rooms. It's a whole
I
different time.
cannot believe I was allowed
No, right?
the free range that I had on those.
They're like, it's
And-
just words. How bad could it be?
1999 was a interesting year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My parents
Oh,
only knew.
well, now they know if they watch the podcast.
They're like, that's why you got a
They
tattoo.
would never. Yeah, that's why I got it.
Because of chat rooms.
Yeah, 25 years later.
Yeah, my mom was asking me like a few weeks. Oh no, it was a couple months ago. She's like, "What's this art pizza?" I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's this art
Yeah, don't
thing.
pay attention to that.
Don't pay attention. Don't click
pay
on
no
that
mind.
link."
Ever.
And she'll just be like, "I didn't know you felt that way about being a doctor." It's like,
Oh, did she
shut up.
listen?
No.
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
great.
imagining the
Okay.
conversation. But I always thought you wanted to be a doctor. I'm like, damn it!
I was trying to provide for your future.
It's
All
okay.
right, I think we sufficiently covered the topic. Right?
Oh, Blaze said he's gonna see Mario. Mario or Mario? What is it?
It's Mario.
It's Mario
It's
if you're on the East Coast.
It's Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, if you're
You're on
New
the
York
West.
Italian, it's Mario.
Yeah.
Like
You
when
eat
I was
pizzas while
younger,
watching
I
Mario.
said Mario, but like as I started playing when I was a kid, it was Mario. So I don't know.
Well, probably maybe because it's like their origin is like the New York thing, right?
Right.
From
Yeah,
the
but
cartoon or whatever.
even the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. That's how Captain Lou Albano says Super Mario. Yeah, I guess said Mario, right? Super
It's like right in the middle.
He's right in the middle. Yeah, he's trying to unite the coasts.
I hated that cartoon, man. I hated that.
Your arms from
I
side
hated
to side. I did
that
hate
cartoon and like Zelda cartoon that came out
That came on
after.
Fridays.
Oh, the Zelda cartoon
Yeah,
was
yeah.
terrible.
It was just like because like the dialogue and the audio was like you'd hear like Princess Zelda talking instead of like Link. It's like they couldn't match up like
Yeah, I
who
don't
was
know what
talking.
animation
It was
studio
super
that
low
was.
budget,
but
right?
It was so low budget. Yeah.
I
I feel
mean,
like they outsourced it like to Indonesia or something.
but they were trying to rush so much stuff out to capitalize on that because in the 80s they had a dumb Rubik's Cube cartoon. In the 90s we had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and Captain N. Remember Captain N? That was
Yeah.
dope. I love Captain N.
Yeah, that was like the first video game cartoon.
Yeah,
It was
with
like
like the D-list villains from video games, like the Eggplant Wizard.
They had Mother Brain.
They had
from
Mother
Metroid.
Brain. They had Mother Brain as the main villain, but it was King Hippo and the Eggplant Wizard. Like, wow, what a random selection from Kid Icarus and
to be the
Punch-Out.
villains.
Yeah, there were other villains in those other two games.
But they did the whole thing like D&D where like a kid gets sucked up into this world.
Did you
'Cause-
know there is like a final episode of that show that someone made like a few years ago?
Oh, for Dungeons
For
Dragon
the
cartoon?
D&D cartoon.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't seen it though.
Yeah, I have the link on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet because I feel like I want to pay attention to it. I don't want to just put it on in the background.
Oh, I hate to spoil the Dungeons Dragons movie, but the kids from the cartoon in the 80s are in the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they make an
Nice.
appearance.
I was just
that is
like,
awesome.
oh shit!
is
Like I don't know if anyone else saw it. I'm sure
my
I was
God.
in a theater full of nerds, but
Yeah,
still.
Yeah.
got super stoked.
that is
on it.
awesome.
So,
Oh my
it's-
God, I was so tired. Like everyone had that energy bow. Like Hank, when that cartoon came out, everyone's like, "Oh, I want an energy bow." I was like, "Ah, I guess."
Yes. Just have him take a turn to light his bow, his arrow on fire
Yeah.
before he can actually fire. Yeah, I
That's a
think
cool
I think we've covered the topic and then some.
And then some.
And then
Yes.
some.
Let's say,
And we only briefly mentioned wrestling.
right.
It was comic book related because we were talking about our comic book.
Blaze said he's playing some D&D stuff next week.
Oh, trying D&D of it.
That's awesome.
We approve.
Of course, we approve.
As
Everyone here
nerds,
is
we
playing
approve.
or is playing.
Oh, wait, were
Yeah.
you always playing D&D? I don't remember what I know we talk on Twitter. I don't remember if it was D&D or some other games. It's probably D&D. Now I'm acting like he doesn't play D&D.
Right.
I'm the one that doesn't play.
But Elisa, you're still playing, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
like
we're
a
doing a
weekly thing?
boxed campaign. It's every 2 weeks. Or
Okay.
is it every other week? Yeah, it's
Is it
something like
online or you
that.
guys get
Yeah, it's in
together
person.
in person?
Yeah.
Because
I've
you
been
got to
playing
get the pizzas,
a
right?
little over a year, and I just feel like at the rate that we're going, it's like I just don't think we're gonna finish.
Oh,
There's a lot
yeah.
of I think every time something happens, there's just a lot of discussion on what
Like,
to do.
oh
I'm just like,
Really?
let's move on.
Oh,
my
you
god,
don't ever have the guy that just goes and does it, like without
Well,
discussion.
I'm that guy, by the way.
we
I'm
did
the
have
guy that just does. I'm the guy
yeah
that triggers traps. I'm the
yeah
guy that gets the bad guy's attention on accident.
that's yeah we had that guy, and then he had too much stuff going on in life, so he left. So,
Oh, so now the game slowed down because you
but
don't have
I was also kind of playing that way too, where I was just kind of like, because my brain is just kind of all right, we figured it out, let's go in and do something. But yeah, some
You're
people are
the
a little bit
Leroy
more
Jenkins of the group.
analytical. Not quite, like I'm almost there. I'm like borderline Leroy,
I will
because
say I've never done the Leroy Jenkins, thankfully.
it's kind of like you got to make it fun and interesting, and I feel
Oh yeah, I
like
always play barbarians, and I don't think barbarians can be like, let's talk about what we do.
right,
Let's
you're
discuss
just
this.
They
smashy
Is there a
just
smashy.
diplomatic approach to
Yeah.
this?
they don't think, they just go, and the
Yeah,
rest of the team has to just deal with it and
yeah.
start fighting.
And I'm not saying they're dumb, but they're people of action. I was about to say men of action, but I want to be gender neutral. They're people of action.
Yeah.
It's funny, we figured out, like, because we used to run up. I think we had like at 1.8 people
Oh wow,
playing.
That's a lot.
that is way too many
So
people.
imagine like a just one encounter that took like the
Yeah.
whole night.
Yeah.
And we figured out the math. Like it was like maybe like a freaking 3 hour encounter, and it
Yeah,
was
you
like
need a timer.
it boils down to like 2 seconds in real life.
Oh my God.
Like these
You're like,
battles,
you
yeah.
describe some enemies that they see, and everyone's looking at their watch. Like, do we got time for this? We got 2 kobolds. You say? Do we got time for this? We got.
Yeah,
Let's see.
so
It's 9 o'clock now.
but yeah, those kind of games you just gotta wing it. There's no wrong answer. And if you just jump without thinking, it's okay. You know.
Maybe, unless
It's
you're
just about we just made it about drinking and hanging out. That was the
Yeah.
priority of our games.
We
Yeah.
basically used role playing games as a way to shoehorn even more movie references.
Right.
Well, I was about to say drinking, but I don't drink. I just eat the pizza, but everyone else drinks, so we have fun.
Yeah. I think I told you guys. We used to, like, if anyone rolled criticals, they would have to like a critical fail, you had to take like a tequila shot.
Nice.
Oh,
But if you got like a critical success, you got to assign the shot to someone. Usually
that's
by
fun.
usually by a dice roll. So if there was 6
Oh.
people, you just roll a d6, whoever got. So it would get sloppy after a while. You know, some people, like, by the end of the night, you had like
that's
tens of-
why it's 3-hour encounters for me.
pretty much. But it was fun though. It was just hanging out, you know. Like we were too concerned with the rules, you know. Most of the time,
Like if you approach it as like storytelling, like everyone's telling the same story, like they got their assigned roles. It's a lot more fun that way.
Mhm.
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
everyone
most
thinks
of-
they're funny. Everyone thinks they're a comedian.
Right.
Is that the bitter DM Brian talking? Everyone thinks they're a comedian. Everyone
I
got
think
jokes.
that's
I
bitter
got
DM.
jokes.
You know how many times I had to save my players, like, because I do all the roles behind the screen.
Oh, right,
So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, I totally missed, but I probably got like a 20.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no,
That's a
this
good
would,
DM.
yeah, this would totally kill. But
Yeah.
I have killed players though, regrettably.
Oh, yeah, that's not off the table, but
Yeah.
not
But-
at the very beginning of a fight.
Right. But killing players will definitely get players less interested in playing because you commit to a player for so long.
Yeah.
It sucks to see him die. But anyways, I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah,
Don't
everyone.
jump into, don't commit crimes under an LLC.
No
Right.
crimes.
That's not what limited liability means.
Right.
If you want to commit financial crimes, you have to do a C corp because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they all do. They're all C corps committing white collar crime.
It sounds like an insult now. Shut up, you C corp.
Yes, C
It
corp.
does kind of, yeah.
C stands for criminal.
Criminal. Exactly. What's S stand for S corp?
Shitty.
Shitty. There you go.
I was gonna say
I-
small, but yeah.
I know a bunch of S corps.
You
Not naming
think they're
names.
C corps, but
They're totally S corps. All right. Well, thanks for joining
All right.
us, everyone.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I'll-
you.